I said, Nike. I'm not going to wear Nike at all. Yay. Yeah, he comes back to Nike. It's game over, dude.
It's over.
Now I'm banned from Nike stores. People are telling me, hey, man, I can't have you in my shop.
Nike banned you from their stores.
So how many pairs was the 3.2 million?
Just under 1,800 pairs. Ye dropped the Yeezy 2. I didn't get the Yeezy 1s. And when they dropped the Yeezy 2s, not the Platinums, but the Solars, I was like, all right, dog, I'm ready.
So the Nike Solar Yeezy 2 is the shoe that brought you back to Nike after an 8-year hiatus?
Virgil and Don C, I remember the first thing they said to me, and they're like, we used to go to your website, benballer.com, and shop for sneakers. My phone rings, and it's a Sprint phone, a flip phone, and I'm like, hello? And he goes, hello, this is Kanye West. Who is this? And I'm like, this is Ben Baller, motherfucker.
All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of the Got Soul podcast. Today we had a crazy one on Ben Baller. Joey, what'd you think?
Legendary. Like I wasn't fortunate enough to walk around as much in the event, but I walked into him just talk about Kanye gifting him 2 pairs of Red Octobers. So I don't even know what went on.
It's like insane. Ben is literally such a legend. We didn't know he was coming today. We're filming this after the fact at LA Got Soul, September 2024. He called me this morning. It was like 9 a.m. I was in the podcast room. He's like, yeah, I'm going to come today, whatever. I'm like, oh, dope. Like, pull up. He pulls up. And I knew he'd be receptive to like telling some of his stories, but I just didn't know how crazy the stories were going to be. You can see from probably some of the event content of like him and A$AP Rocky getting matching tattoos. On this episode, he has some insane stuff to talk about. Talks about Kanye returning back to Nike, his relationship with Kanye, talks about Travis, talks about a bunch of stuff. I mean, yeah.
I wish he stayed a little bit longer because when Don Toliver pulled up, he had that iced out heart.
Oh, yeah. Don Toliver did pull up with a crazy piece. Yeah. But, I mean, either way, this is a great episode. Let's get right into it. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Make sure to let us know what the favorite part was, and we're going to have more episodes coming soon. Thank you. This is you with Costin, you said.
This is Kobe Costin. There's only 24 pairs in the world.
Kobe Costin, 24 pairs in the world. Listen, me and Ben met 15 seconds ago. He's already dropping one of 24s on me. Ben, first time at Got Soul. You've been to other events. You've been to Complex Con. You've done it all.
Yeah.
From what you've seen online, we talked on the phone this morning, you told me what you've seen online. What are you expecting today?
A zoo.
A zoo?
Yeah. All the shit. You have to understand, this was the most famous shoe they've ever done. There's no auction ever in history more famous than the one-on-one eBay auction. That is fucking my shoe right there, homie. And this was, I posted this in 2011. I had
the
these
real
shoes.
eBay?
Yeah, these are real eBay dunks, homie. I had the only other allegedly one-on-one. I showed you those Supreme Air Force Ones. Those never came out. And that was the same time they dropped the Supreme Dunk.
We got my guy Ben Baller in the building. We're just walking into Got Soul. We got all sorts of content we're gonna do.
Daddy put the VA to LA here.
Wow.
I did the red infrared.
That was your idea?
Yeah. And then, we're doing the Velcro stuff. Mine have a diamond on it and they say Ben Baller on mine. And
real flex.
But yeah, when we designed this shoe, it was a crazy thing. Never thought it'd come to fruition. I mean, I have every shoe on this table.
You have every single shoe on this table?
And I probably had all of them, I had these 3 years ago.
No.
Yeah, 3 years ago at least.
How early before the release did you get the deal?
At least 8 months, dude. Maybe even a year.
8 months before they dropped, you already had this.
I had to.
Years before these dropped, you already had it.
Yeah. I was like, yay, I need a pair, bro. He's like, get them tomorrow. I was like, bro, if they don't get them tomorrow, I'm serious, I'm gonna go crazy. Next day.
This hasn't dropped yet, but we got the Got Soul podcast. Maybe we'll do a quick little podcast too.
Yeah, I'm down.
All right, we're here for another episode of the Got Soul podcast. Today we have one of the craziest guys in the sneaker game, jewelry game, apparel game, just a real legend. We got Ben Baller in the building. Ben,
what's up, dog?
Welcome to the show, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me.
We just walked through LA Got Soul. What do you think of the event?
Bedlam. Nuts. It's just craziness. It's still a blur. And I think I've been here for over an hour and I can't remember anything. It was just everything happened in seconds.
Yeah. Does anything stick out to you, or what contributes to it being so crazy? Because people say that all the time. They say, "Oh, Got Soul is so crazy." It's whatever it might be. What do you think contributes to that?
Community. When we were on Nike Talk, well, even Nike Park in 1999, and then jumped over to Nike Talk. We were a community, and a lot of people didn't come outside. We did sneaker summits to meet up with everybody, hunt for sneakers, hunt for shoes. Nike didn't even do $1 billion yet in sneaker and revenue. And around 2004, they did, I think, it was something I think they had broke 1.8 or 2 billion, I forgot. And they didn't think that lifestyle was that big. It was, their money was in soccer, football, basketball, and everything else. And then, I get out the game and everything is lifestyle retro. And now, you're talking 20 plus years later, the fiends, the community, they're still here. They still want to buy, sell, whatever. For a long time, I thought about, man, one day my kids are going to get to wear some of my fly kicks and stuff. And it came sooner than I thought. Where my son would come to school in reverse Grinches, and they never cared about shoes. They were wearing Air Max 270s, uniform stuff and everything. And then, it was like a free dress day instead of wearing the uniform. Pulls up reverse Grinches. I'm wearing regular Grinches, which really ain't nothing. But then the kids are like, oh man, your dad's wearing some cool shoes. I'm like, I don't have time to explain myself, man. They don't even know, like how long I've been in this game. So it's cool to see the generations to come. I remember back like in 2008 or 2009, I was in the movies and some girl's like, oh yeah, I have these little cute little dunks and whatever. And I don't think she even knew why she was wearing them. Like all bullshit aside, like, I know I was part of that wave that really pushed the dunk low movement. And here we are. And, this is something that came about in my head. I mean, like not from the last time, but I'm talking about like actually physically making a commitment and saying, okay, I'm coming. I was like at like 9 a.m. this morning and I'm like, yeah, okay, pull up. And it was just like I said, it was a blur. I feel like I've been here for 20 minutes, but I've been here for like over an hour. And it's amazing to see what you guys have done.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And that's what we want it to be. I think the biggest thing when we think about Got Soul and why do we want people to come and why are they going to come? Because there's so many things going on. People don't want to go outside. They want to sit on their phone all day. When we think of it, we think, okay, there's a lot of places you could buy and sell shoes. You could go on all these different marketplaces. You can go to the resale shop at your local mall. You can come to Got Soul, but why are you going to come to Got Soul? And it's not for what shoe you bought or sold, because we think 10 years from now, you're talking about, 20, 30 years ago, shoes and sneaker stories. We think 10 years from now, I don't think people are going to remember what shoe they bought or sold at Got Soul. And if they do, that's cool, but they might think, oh, did I buy those white Thunders at Got Soul? Did I get them at a resale shop? It doesn't really matter. What's going to matter 10 years from now is the experience they had, who they met, the business connection they made, the celebrity they saw,
them casually seeing Ben Baller throughout the event.
Right, and it's stuff like this, and it's that wow factor that we like to bring to an event and in a real life atmosphere, not just online, that has really separated Got Soul. When Lil Yachty walks into our Atlanta event, people are flipping out. Oh my God, that's Lil Yachty. Same thing with Meek Mill, and he's bartering with vendors, and and then we put that online to social. We reach 100 million people a month on social that want to see this stuff. So that's our thing, is like we want people to remember the experience they had 10 years from now. So what you said and the community, that's what it's all about, and we just want to give them that experience. So yeah.
Well, to even add to that, how about the kids that are coming here that are 16, 17, 18, 19, whatever it may be? Like, I made my first $1,000 at Got Soul. I made my first $1,000 at like Burger King, 30 something plus years ago. But it's like, you got a kid here, and then you got another entrepreneur, could be in their 20s, could be in their 30s, be like, yo, I made my first 50K, 100K, who knows? I mean, there's people selling Louis Vuitton Air Force Ones for 50, 60, Freddy Krueger 60, who knows? You're here to make some bread, here to make some networks, and it's look, you've done well for yourself. I remember that Meek Mill episode, that shit cracked me up because, like, I know Meek and I know Yachty really well. These are younger dudes, and to kind of sit back like Yoda and just see all this shit, flourish. It's good, man. I know there's probably some other conventions that I go out there, but I forgot what they're called because, people have very short-term memories, including myself.
Right.
So what's in your face right now? Got Soul.
That's what it's all about. And our thing is, we never cared to be. People will say, oh, do you want to be better than this, better than that? Do you want to be the best this? We just want to be the best Got Soul. That's all we care about, is how do we make Got Soul the best thing?
Yeah.
So, at the end of the day, like I told you, we started this thing in a church with 200 people. We were living in a trailer, so we're playing with house money. But speaking of what you said of like first $1,000, Joey, you could attest, like Joey does all the videos with the vendors of some of these kids, some of the pairs they have in there, some of the money that's been made. Yeah, anything today you've seen?
It was pretty crazy. The second person in line today, unfortunately, wasn't the first. The first guy showed up at like 6 o'clock to be here, but the second kid was a little kid with his mom. And I looked down at his feet, and he's wearing Louis Vuitton Air Forces, green.
Jesus.
And then he was probably 12 years old.
Years old, probably max. But then he had a regular IKEA bag. And I was like, what's in the bag? And he just pulls out Nike mags. And it's just like, but, it doesn't matter where he got it from or where he got the money from or whatever the case may be, but he came here looking to make a business transaction with those pairs, right? And that's, I think, the most beautiful part about sneakers, because it's teaching the principle of business at such a young age, whether the entry point is, buying a $200 Jordan 4, or whether buying an exclusive grail like that. I think personally like that, because that's where Jonathan and I started. We started buying, selling, and trading, and you could probably attest, I think that's the most beautiful part about this kind of industry.
Yeah, but Ben, I got to ask you, there's people out there, of course, if you don't know who Ben Baller is, literally there's so many infamous and crazy moments. The one I always think of is that ASAP Ferg line, Ben Baller did the chain. But can you tell the people out there, like, who is Ben Baller? In a couple of sentences, what you've done, some of your history, how you've gotten to this point where you've worked with everybody. You know, you were just telling us in there, and we'll get to this, but you were telling us that Kanye just called because he wanted to sit down and talk. You know, you have a great relationship with him. But how did we get to here? Like, who's Ben Baller, and how did we get to this point?
I mean, first and foremost, you know, I'm a father. That's like the first title in life that you know, that I always tell people. I'm a father of 3 kids, you know, and that changed my life forever. And every time I had another kid, life started all over again. But going back, you know, 40 plus years ago, I remember getting, you know, a pair of Skyforce ones. Because what happened was Nike, if you were a size 6.5 or older or bigger in a shoe, you had an Air Force One. It's 1981. And if you were under a 6.5, you wore a Skyforce. In 1985, you had the Air Jordan. That was 6.5 to size whatever 15 that they had at retail, JCPenney, Champs, wherever you bought them from, Foot Locker. If you were under a 6.5, you wore a Sky Jordan 1, Chicago. So I had the Sky Forces 1981. I'm 8 years old. And, you know, I love kicks. I love sports. I love Bruce Lee. You know, to fast track this, I was really big into music, breakdancing, got to meet Ice-T, who's on SVU, but people don't realize this guy was a famous rapper, an iconic LA rapper, iconic pioneer of LA. Not an actor, this was a dude as a rapper. Throughout my timeline, I got to meet so many people, went to high school with famous people, went to high school with legends, you know, Lenny Kravitz to Angelina Jolie. I can't even begin, but, you know, I knew sports was something I always loved. And so were sneakers. I never could really afford them, though, you know. Every single pair of Jordans or Air Maxes I had in real time. Never had them as retros. I had them all the first time around. So that's something that's always cool. Remember vividly when the first pair came out. When the second pair came out, oh, this is an Italian thing, you know, whatever. Like, no one knew who Tinker Hatfield was back then. But people knew who Sonny Vaccaro was. And if you saw the movie Air, then you would know what he played in the movie. Fast forward, I'm in the music business, you know, finished college, ended up playing, got a D1 scholarship, playing football, ended up playing basketball. Was the first Asian in my university's history to play both sports. Finished college, got a degree in cinematography, thought I was gonna be a director. Nope, was a DJ, nightclub. Meet Denzel Washington, plugs me in. I started DJing the Black Oscar party, the Black Grammy party. Meet Quincy Jones, I meet Dr. Dre, I meet Tupac, do Jada Pinkett's birthday party. Start doing all kinds of different parties. Me and Dre start sitting down, we talk. Dre gives me a job. Next thing you know, from there, I ended up becoming vice president of Priority Records, you know, ended up doing Jay-Z's first album deal. Master P came along. You know, we got Friday the movie. Leave there, start Aftermath Entertainment with Dr. Dre. Twiddling our thumbs for almost 2 years trying to figure it out. Did a Firm album, which was pretty dope. Nas, Foxy, AZ, and Nature. And then Eminem came and saved the label, you know. And then, you know, just kept pushing. Throughout all this time, I remember I had a really deep conversation in 1996 with Missy Elliott. If you really were in kicks, you knew who the OG people were. My boy Ems was the OG. I was. My boy Homicide. We created Air Max Crew. Me, DJ AM, rest in peace. And, you know, there was a community on Nike Talk, and I would always have kicks. In 96, me and Missy Elliott were going to this place called Sporty LA on Melrose. I think it still might be there. And Ellie, the owner, he had these white patent leather Air Force Ones. And I ain't gonna lie to you, like, he wanted $100 for them. And I think most Air Force Ones were going for about 55 back then. It was kind of steep, but it was a COJP, you know? And there wasn't like, you know, you have to really deep archive how many pairs of SKUs there must have been. You know, even just a basic Air Force One, there might be like 15 different SKUs, right? And this is when they were using leather on their shoes, and Missy's like, yo, I got you, don't worry about it. She didn't even have a deal yet. I was trying to get her signed. She was writing albums for Aaliyah, for Timbaland, a bunch of people, and then she became an iconic artist. And I just knew, like, look, this sneaker shit, I don't know, man. Like, I failed at the sneaker, at the baseball cards. I failed at the comics. You know, I don't know. Fast forward to 2004, I got 1,800 pairs of shoes. You know, I helped pretty much kick off the Nike SB. I spawned that. Other retro shoes, some iconic shoes came out during that time. Zoo Yorks, Paris. Paris a little bit after. My boy Nick Diamond came out, the Tiffany, the SB things came. PlayStations, Vibe magazine. There was some crazy COJP. A lot of COJP stuff was really it, like especially the City Attacks, Ultramans, things like that. That spawned the Off-White Dunks. And, you know, Virgil and Don C, I remember the first thing they said to me when they had met me, like I met Ye in around 01, I think. I met those guys like around 05. And they're like, we used to go to your website, benball.com, and you know, shop for sneakers.
Wow, Don C, Kanye's original manager, used to go to your website to shop for sneakers.
And Virgil.
Virgil used to shop on your website.
And so, you know, used to look for sneakers and stuff. And so in 2004, spring of 2004, got into a huge riff with Nike. I had the first big sneaker customization before Sue Surgeon or before any of these guys, a company called Meth Amphibian. And we were the shit. We had Nike events. We were backed by Nike. We were killing it.
And Nike, you and Nike got into a beef.
Yeah. I mean, we did our first collaboration at Undefeated. Our first thing was called the Kobe Playoff Dunk. And this was like 2002. And we sold out at 24 pairs. Kobe got a pair. And, you know, Undefeated, it just opened. And, you know, no one knew what a tier 0 account was back then or nothing. And so we got offered a shoe finally. My boy, Mr. Cartoon, who's one of my mentors, his shoe's in the pipeline right now. Iconic Spiderweb Air Force One. They get shelved because Marvel Magazine owns the right to having any kind of spiderweb on a shoe. Spiderweb was part of the you know, saying the La Raza culture, the Chicano culture. It's like you put them on, you know, on tattoos, whatever. So they had to scrap that and make a different pair, like a GR pair. So now Mr. Cartoon Air Force Ones are going for like a rack. And that's a lot of money back then, right? His shoe took 10 months. I didn't believe it. It was going to take 10 months to do a shoe. So we were doing a Nike Terminator because at that time, the Terminator was all the hype. So me and Meth Amphibian do a Ben Baller, Meth Amphibian, Nike Terminator official. Not going to disclose whatever, but we get into a huge disagreement. Now I'm banned from Nike stores. People are telling me, hey, man, I can't have you in my shop.
Nike banned you from their stores.
Like tier 0 accounts were saying, hey, bro, if you post up that you're at our shop, they're going to pull our Nike account, shit like that.
So like the Concepts, Bodegas, maybe not those stores, but the tier 0, for people who don't know, is like the most limited sneaker stores. Those stores weren't letting you post them because Nike was going to pull their contract.
And so I start going onto my website, checking IP addresses. And I'm like, damn, that's a lot of stuff from Beaverton, Oregon. This is crazy. So I said, Nike. I'm not going to wear Nike at all. And for 8 years, I did not ever put a pair of Nikes on my feet. And I sold my entire collection on eBay. It was 2 parts. One for, it was about $3.2 million to all total. It was the biggest auction. Any OG remembers. I had Bobby Hunters on my show the other day. He remembered when the auction was on and the thread was going on forever. Like, God damn, what's it going to go? What's going to go? It actually beat the Hurricane Katrina Air Jordan auction, where he went from Jordan 1 maybe to Jordan 17 or 18, whatever it was. They auctioned off every one of Jordan's actual shoes, his size. Beat that, became a millionaire.
Real quick, became a millionaire.
Yeah.
Through the jewelry business?
No, through selling sneakers.
Oh, okay.
He sold, how many pairs was the 3.2 million?
Just under 1,800 pairs. So there was all kinds of rare stuff in there. M&M dunks, you know, I mean, M&M fours, undefeateds. There was so many crazy things that were in that auction. There was Wu-Tangs. There was, you know, at that time, Wu-Tang was like, I mean, I can't imagine, I mean, I seen Travis wearing a 10 or 10 and a half. I don't know how the hell he found them. But, you know, it's like, I couldn't imagine. I know they're coming out next month or whatever it is. But there was Rockefellers, you know, OG Jay-Z's, you know, OG Rockefellers. There was so many different crazy pairs of shoes. Deftone dunks. Shoes that were so impossible to get. You know, player exclusives. Harold Miner 32 Jordan 9s. You know what I'm saying? They had the 32 in the back, not the 23. Just crazy stuff. So I could never hate the game because it made me a millionaire, right?
Right.
And then, you know, I thought at that point, damn, that was probably the best part of the game. But obviously, you know, Paris dunks end up being, I mean, I think Paris was going for 5 or 10 G's back then. You know, they're going, at one point during COVID, I think they sold for $100,000.
It's crazy.
So, you know, 8 years. I wore Vans, Adidas.
You wouldn't wear Nike?
Anything else, yeah, until Ye dropped the Yeezy 2. I didn't get the Yeezy 1s. And when they dropped the Yeezy 2s, right there, you know, not the Platinums, but the Solars, I was like, all right, dog, I'm ready.
So the Nike Solar Yeezy 2 is the shoe that brought you back to Nike after an 8-year hiatus?
2 pairs of shoes, Solar Yeezy 2s, and the Galaxy Foams. Galaxy Foams came from Nike. It was an all-star weekend, whatever.
Yeah.
And then right around that exact same time, Ye had sent me the 2s, and I was like, all right, Yeezy 2s. And I was like, all right.
Those are 2 of them, like one of the most iconic sneakers ever.
For sure.
We were arguing with PJ Tucker on the podcast last month, and we love PJ, but we were talking about Nike shoes from that era, because we started in, like, I started collecting like 2012, Joey around the same exact time.
That was the same year, yeah.
But that shoe, Galaxy Foam, 2014, we see the Yeezy 2s. All those shoes that were hyped then are coming back now. Galaxy KD4s, Weatherman KD4s. They're bringing back a lot of like the good retros. Fear 4s that came out around that time for the first time. They're bringing it back. Galaxy Foams is one they're saying they're going to bring back. And I'm like, I don't want that shoe to come back. I'm sorry. PJ's like, don't gatekeep it. Where do you stand on Nike bringing back all the iconic shoes?
Don't bring back the foams. Don't bring back the Galaxy Foams, Doc.
Thank you, Ben.
What are some other shoes that they should not bring back?
Should have never brought back. Should have never brought back that Linden Atmosphere Air Force Ones. Should have never brought back the Coco Snakes. Should have never brought back. Should be never been thinking about bringing back those Wu-Tang Dunks. That's insane. Let them go dig. Galaxy Foams was a move right there, bro. That whole lineup, the 3 pairs of shoes that came out during that time, the Barclays and stuff, those were crazy, man. Those were, but they run out of ideas. And again, I remember telling them back then, like, nah, man, retro lifestyle is never gonna be. It's gonna be cool. All right, well, how many Air Maxes are you guys at now? And you're retro in 97, 98s and whatever. Cool, but I came back in and I didn't dive in like crazy. Just kind of always kept a decent amount just in rotation and kept stuff that I wanted to keep,
Right. Okay, so going off of that point, a lot of people are putting Nike under fire right now. People are saying, the stock price for Nike's down. People are saying Nike fell off. Is Nike ever going to be the same? Where do you stand on Nike's status in the sneaker market right now? And what do you think is the biggest mistake they've made to get to this point?
They got greedy, beyond greedy. You got to remember, I remember when a rare pair of shoes was 100 pairs. 1,000 was like, it's kind of rare. And then I remember, I forgot what year it was, they dropped the Bread 11s. And they said there was 100,000 pairs. I was like, 100,000 pairs? Are you crazy? That's insane. Now, mind you, of course, the demand went up. Now when you see these big Bread 4 release, there's a million pairs coming out, right, in production. It's like, it's insane, right? And I know the demand is up, but what I'm saying is, you got this shit all messed up. I remember when we did the Chum Witherspoon, 197, they're like 175,000 pairs. And I was like, what? Like, I was literally in shock. And at that point, I'm so out the game, I don't really know what's going on. And Sean's like, no, it's going to be crazy. I was like, all right, cool. Well, let's see what happens. We sold out.
Sold out quick.
Yeah. And they're still somewhere at that $1,500, $1,700 mark, whatever, they up and down, but they're still above a rack for sure. And that blew my mind. But slow down, man. You're coming up with crazy different, they're going to come out with purple reverse backboard, purple thunder. It's just like, dog, stop. It's just, I don't know how many times they're going to drop it. And the crazy part is you see the different shapes from when they dropped them. Then in 94, they dropped the Air Force, the Jordan 1. Then they did it again here, and then they did a bread, and they do a satin bread. It's just like, dude, enough is enough, man. Try to let the people catch up. Let the value, but again, they don't want resellers.
Right.
They don't give a shit.
Do you think Nike will make a comeback?
I don't think that. What are you gonna do? You're gonna wear Under Armours? I know I get like in the uniforms and stuff.
Asics, they're saying New Balance. A lot of independent shoe brands are getting popular. I don't know. What do you?
But
think?
at the same time, they're not doing the same billions.
Right.
It's just they don't like anybody.
From a cultural standpoint and an influence standpoint, do you think Nike's going to take that share of the influence that they've had in years past, or do you think that it's going to continue to go down?
I still think that they're the top dog, regardless.
1,000%.
I would love them to fall down, not like on some hater shit, but just on some like, let's see someone else come up. You know what I mean? And Adidas could have had it with Yeezy and all that, and that was a messed up situation. But I think that Nike just has they have so much power with Jordan and other stuff that they can figure it out. Whether they keep Travis in the rotation, if they keep, who knows, Yachty, it could be anybody, whoever the next big person is.
If you were the head of Nike and you could call one person to bring back Nike and make that stock price go up, who would you call if you were the head of Nike? One phone call.
Damn, I don't know, bro.
Who's the first person that comes to your head when you think this person might be able to do it?
That's a tough call, bro. It would have been Drake, and I hate to even say this because he's a close personal friend of mine, but he's on a cool down period right now, right? And I don't even know what the hot step is and all the his other stuff has been doing, what Nocta's doing, but it's a weird open space right now in the game. I know Travis is killing it with the tours and everything, but what's that?
I got my guy who they got to call.
Who?
If I'm the head of Nike and I want to bring things back, I'm calling Kanye West.
Oh, my God. I didn't even think about that.
But I was actually going to bring that up. That was my next point, is Kanye has been seen recently, because obviously with the follow with Adidas, wearing like black Air Forces, like sparingly tying their own hair. But we all know what's going to happen if Nike was to ever work with Kanye again.
It's game over.
But
This is the thing.
But to one thing, this shoe sitting right next to you,
still
might.
No, if Nike, I love you,
Listen.
Nike. If you retro the Red Octobers, I don't even know what I'll do. I'm gatekeeping.
Forget that. If you put this just in all black, nothing else, and you start retroing, just doing your own, you know what I'm saying, doing colorways of this. The thing with this is this. Tiger left a year ago, and that was the one, it has to be top 3 most iconic things
Tiger
ever
Woods,
in history,
Nike,
right?
Of course.
So think. He had a little bit of ownership here and there, but obviously with his new brand, Sunday Red, he can't use the TW logo. They own that IP, right? So if Jordan would ever leave, he could still use his thing for whatever Jumpman. I don't know what that situation is, but Jordan ain't going anywhere. You do have the money to bring Kanye back. Even if it is a couple bill, you have now, because the revenue is insane, you do have the money to get back. Now, is it a little difficult to deal with him? Man, who's not difficult to deal with? And I know he's definitely on the higher side of difficulty, but what I'm saying is, you're talking about somebody who 5 hours ago didn't even think about coming here and don't even care about sneakers like that. I do, but I don't. So when you just joggled, like my head just was like, oh shit, yay. Yeah, he comes back to Nike and they give him the archive and like be like, oh, bro, let's dissect this, let's put this here. It's game over, dude.
It's over.
It's over.
So talking about Kanye, we were just walking around the event. And there's some crazy content I'm sure you guys will see from the event. We were talking about just recently, you and Ye, obviously, I want you to tell a couple of stories for the pod. You were talking about you and Ye's early work with Pastel, his clothing brand, right, that never really came to be. And then that's way back. That's mid-2000s Kanye. And then you said just recently you and Kanye are coming back with your relationship. You guys went out and got dinner in Malibu.
Well, it was for John Monopoly's birthday party.
Shout out to John Monopoly.
And gave Monop a Cybertruck and Giorgio's and just trying to rebuild. And again, it was like not an olive branch really, just like, yo, man, it's never really not no. And the thing is, Monop is my dog. That's been my dog, and that's
Kanye's
OG.
new manager for those who don't know.
And he was his first like after he was his first real manager, like main manager when he had his deal and everything. Monop is back in the game. He's doing his thing. It's a good time for taking right now, bro. I think this would be
Kanye's. I think people want to know this, and people who aren't even into sneakers want to know this. You said you recently sat down with Kanye. I am a huge Kanye West fan. And I understand he's done a lot of things that are wrong. I don't want to bring religion into this. I'm a man of God. I think God forgives. I think,
Yeah, I'm not going to get into it.
I don't want to get into a lot, but what I want to get into is this. People want to know, what's Kanye West's spirit like right now? Is he in good spirits? Is he feeling good? Is he talking good? Is he planning things? From what you saw in your conversation with Kanye, how do you think Kanye's doing?
I think he's on a healing tour, bro. I think he's chilling. I think he's really on a different place, man. Like, I don't know where this podcast goes and who sees this, right? You never know. All it takes is one person to see it, for another person to see it.
If you see this.
And what I mean is, a long time ago, I was like really big on not walking with security anymore. I feel like, look, man, I'm a man of God, go out there, and your energy is really important, right? I have not seen Ye with security in a while. I mean, you'll have people, what I'm saying is you'll see him really trying to just with his wife, chilling, driving around here and there. And he's trying to be more regular. I know it sounds crazy, but I mean, like, just at least be flying commercial, doing certain things. I think he's on a healing tour. You hear his daughter talk about it, like, yo, he doesn't have 17 people in the house and blah, blah. He's chilling. He has one room doing this, whatever. And it's very minimal, very Rick Owens-like. And he still has the genius in him, and he still has the archive. And I think he's really Yoda for real. Like, he has it all. Musician, creativity. He can come back and do it 1,000%. I was thinking the other day when the concert was going on, I had some friends of mine, like, hey, can you give me some tickets? I was like, no problem. Send me your ID. Send me your phone number, email address. I got you. And this girl was like, wow, I cannot believe I couldn't get these tickets. I was like, man, don't even, you're going to get the VIP experience of Ultras and, And, I've had so many different funny times with Kanye. I've known him through different women, through different times in life when he was waiting outside the club and he couldn't get in.
Kanye West waiting outside the club.
Yeah, and my boy DJ M had to get him in. I had to help him get him in. He was wearing a rock chain, early on. And then seeing him outside Undefeated. And then one day, my phone rings, and it's a Sprint phone, a flip phone. It's maybe 2000, 3. And I'm like, hello? And he goes, hello, this is Kanye West. Who is this? And I'm like, this is Ben Baller, motherfucker. And he's like, oh, man, I just saw your phone. Yeah, I saw you at Undefeated last, right? I was like, yeah, with Lexus. He's like, yeah. So what's going on? Hey, man, yeah, no, I don't really know about kicks like that, dog. I'm a low head, dog. You know, like Don C, he don't want to know everything about kicks, blah, blah, whatever. And we just talked for an hour. Cold called me because he didn't know who his number on his phone was. And that's just
Kanye called you and he didn't know who he was calling. He just had a number on his phone.
And I'm like, bro, it's me. And he goes, oh, shit. So we just started talking about sneakers for like about an hour. And then like next time I seen him, he's getting a tattoo at Mr. Cartoon's shop. And I said, hey, bro. He's like, he always asks people what you think. Like he always asks people, you see the stories like, oh, Shia LaBeouf, he goes to his house, goes, let me see, steals his style, whatever. And I'm like, bro, I'm telling you right now, the hottest shoe right now, because I wasn't fucking with Nike. And it was like a year later, I was like, bro, you need to get these Christian Hosoi skate highs. This is the shit. Next thing you know, I see Kanye walking on the red carpet with Lexus, Pfeiffer, and he's wearing Kanye Hosoi. If he's wearing Christian Hosoi skate highs, and I'm like, this motherfucker cracks me up, bro. So he asked me, advice about jewelry and stuff, and he had some amazing, amazing things that he wanted to do at Pastel. He's like, yo, I want to make porcelain Jesus pieces. I'm like, bro, I can cut diamond, I cut gold. Porcelain's like, I don't know anything about this. He's like, bro, we would change the game. I'm like, yeah, we probably could. And I think if I put maybe more effort into it, but I just felt like there was other things that we had that were cracking. But his mind goes everywhere. Genius, brilliant dude. And I think he's also his hardest critic. But yeah, he's due a real comeback.
I can't wait for it.
Yeah.
I can't wait for it. Okay. We got to ask you just a couple of sneaker things. We'll do some copper drop stuff. Want to get some of your opinions. We'll get you out of here. But before that, Joe, any questions you have in mind?
I mean, we've talked so much about like the history of the game and the evolution of the game. A pair of 1985s right to the left of you.
Yeah.
And I know you've had your falling outs with Nikes and stuff, but I personally think that has to be the best sneaker of all time. I'm interested on your take. What is the best sneaker of all time?
So there's a funny story. When I said Nike and I got rid of every single pair of my shoes, there's only 2 pair of shoes that I kept. And they're both 85s, and they still had the 85 tag on them. It was a Chicago 85 and a Carolina 85s. So
Can't get rid of that.
My favorite shoe of all time for, I'd say 95% of my life were probably the black cement 3s. That was just my favorite shoe. Something about that shoe just and now I love the white cement 3s a little bit more, but that was my favorite shoe from 88 until maybe 2023, that was my favorite shoe. And I think something about the Kobe 6 to me has just been my favorite personally. But if we're talking about iconic overall everything, yeah, it really does become a dogfight between the Chicago 1 and the BC 3s.
Great pick. Seriously.
Wow. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I got to ask you.
Oh, because maybe to tie in really quickly, Jonathan, what's your favorite sneaker of all time and why?
My favorite sneaker's got to be 1999 White Cement 4, not the OG 1989. The 1999, the gray is a little lighter. I'm also born in 99, so that kind of ties in. But I know, I'm young, I know. Either way, that shoe, and there's a reason why. There's a picture of Kanye and Amber walking around. Kanye's got a black tee, some jeans, and White Cement 4's 99 White Cements on. And I was a huge Kanye West fan my whole childhood growing up. And I remember he's just walking with a swagger. We'll have to pop up the picture. And I just looked at him like, this is the coolest dude in the world. And that shoe, I want that shoe. So that shoe, I have it. 1999 White Cement 4.
Gray box.
Soul swapped. Gray box.
Yeah. Come on, dog.
I'll wear it. It's dead stock, student of the game. I'll wear it probably on my wedding day.
Yeah. Well, you better get the soul swap because
I already did once, and I'll probably have to get it again.
Because they're gonna
to
crumble.
He loves his old shoes. The Yeezy ones he's got on. He wore those in New York when we had Check West.
That's one pair I kept. The Blinks
crumbled on his feet.
For the longest time, Ye's favorite shoe was the Infrared 6. That was his favorite shoe for a long time. I know
he wore that shoe a lot,
and he said it a lot. He had so many goddamn pairs. He had a lot of pair of ones and stuff. But yeah, man, I mean that's definitely it. That's
Joey, favorite shoe of all time?
Oh, I said it. I think it has to be the Chicago.
That's your favorite?
The Chicago. My personal favorite is like the 85 itself, but it's the neutral gray 85. Yeah. I have it personally. Thankful to Jonathan. I'm a great brother over there for getting to me. But yeah.
I mean, Nadas Kappas. He was a famous street skater, legendary LA, icon, Santa Monica Airlines. Nadas is one of the OG skaters. He would skate in a Laker colorway, and that was OG too. That was 85 or 86. That was, this was a big skate shoe back in the, if you could afford it. You gotta remember, $65 was a lot of money for people back then.
We talked about the GOAT sneaker. Let me ask you a couple of other GOATs.
Yeah.
Who's the GOAT sneaker collector of all time? And we can keep it rapid fire if you want to, but
There was this guy in Japan, Bear 31 or Bear, I forgot. He's got to be out there. And I'm not talking about real vintage though. Like I don't think he has anything after 2002. So like if you're talking about 99, white cement 4s, might have 100 pairs dead stock. This dude's a different type of animal. You got to bring up my boy Ducky U was a big dude. I don't know what M's collection looking like right now. Air Rev was a big dude. Retro Kid was a big dude.
if you have to pick one,
See, me personally, I know Khaled and Fat Joe have a lot of stuff. And, I do like new things too. But I don't know, man. Clark Kent's up there too. It's tough to say. But PJ got a lot of Kobe's, man. You know what I'm saying? So did PJ get rid of all his kicks or no?
so PJ Tucker, shout out PJ Mark. I was texting them yesterday. Apparently, we're going to have a list on my phone soon of some stuff PJ's trying to sell. So I think Godsoul's going to help him sell a lot of his kicks.
Yeah, he brought his truck last event.
I'll take PJ over Khaled.
So you're taking PJ Tucker, greatest sneaker collector?
I would give it to him.
Wow.
Because he wore them.
Okay. Yeah, PJ pulled up, had a duffel bag full of shoes at the last event.
Because he wore them.
Was wearing the Sal's Pizza.
Yeah, Scar's Pizza, yeah.
I mean, Scar's Pizza.
Because he wore them.
Okay, so PJ Tucker, greatest sneaker collector. Who's the greatest sneaker collaborator of all time?
Hiroshi, man. To me.
Okay. I'm going Kanye.
Oh, well, I feel like Kanye had his own line. So, yeah, I mean, I would put Kanye up there. But if, I feel like that's not really...
Designer, collaborator designer.
Because he had his own Air... He had actual Yeezy, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think there wasn't an Air fragment. There was an Air Jordan fragment.
Right.
There was this.
Okay, so
but
Hiroshi
I'm just saying,
for a
like...
collaborator that didn't have their own line.
Yeah.
Okay, shout out Fragment. Okay.
And if we're talking about, like, having their own shoe, then I would say Michael Jordan. I'd have to put him over I have to put him over Kanye. I'm sorry, man. But...
Okay. No, I'm taking MJ, but
yeah. It's a tough one, But if you guys remember HTM, that was Hiroshi, Tinker, and Eric Clapton is like, that was a different level, of that stuff. And there were some great times in the sneaker. I'm glad I came up in the time I did. And I was really surprised that Sean Witherspoon knew a lot about the history of what was going on with Nike. And he studied stuff like the Blue House and things that I was a part of. And just crazy, man.
Okay, cool. Yeah, a couple of rapid fire. I'm going to give you some shoes, some controversial ones, and we'll give you just get a quick copper drop.
Okay.
All right? We're going to start. We have to start with this one. Panda Dunk copper drop.
Drop.
Why?
15 million pairs made and just whatever. But they go with everything. They're definitely, I mean, there's positives and negatives.
Yeah. What do you think about everyone? There's so much hate on the Panda Dunk.
Yeah, I said that earlier.
That hate, a lot of it comes from us, from videos we've put out. Gigi, who interviewed you earlier, there's a video of her with like 50 million views asking people what the worst shoe of all time is, and they say Pandas. And we've posted so many different videos like that. We've generated a lot of that hate, but now people are pushing back like, oh, don't hate on them. Are you taking the Panda Dunk hate? What do you think about it?
I think the hate's way too much. I think all three of my kids went through at least 2 or 3 pairs, and they match with everything. But again, that became the white Air Force Ones. Right. You know what I'm saying? But no one ever hates on the white Air Force Ones. It's just kind of like, again, it's this new culture, whatever, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, you guys, whatever you did.
Real quick, white Air Force One, overrated, underrated, or perfectly rated?
Perfectly rated.
Okay. All right, let's go back to copper drop. Next one, you're a huge Kobe collector, Kobe fan, et cetera. Rest in peace to Kobe. And let's just take Kobe's legacy out of it, and let's just talk about the shoe for a copper drop on this one. Adidas Kobe 2.
Drop.
That's probably the most hated Kobe shoe of all time.
I mean, the dude who made the Audi QQ, whatever that car is, it just looks like it just looks crazy. I got gifted them before they came out. I have a picture of me and Corrupt from Dog Pound. When we got them, the day we got them, they just look crazy. But,
All right, we're talking about a lot of Kanye stuff on this podcast. Let's talk about Kanye's new stuff. Yeezy Foam Runner.
Drop.
Yeezy Pod.
Drop.
Okay.
That's a respectful answer because the amount of connection and bond you've talked.
Nice,
to
keeping
Kanye,
it real.
That's just genuine input.
Okay. Let's go to some Mischief stuff. Mischief Big Red Boot.
Kill the person who even created those shoes.
Okay. What about the Mischief Lil Nas X Devil sneaker? black and red. It has like the blood or something.
Oh, I thought they're Nike. Weren't they Nikes, or were they?
Yeah,
or
they were
looks like
Nike. They were Air Max 97s with a collaboration with Mischief.
And
Yeah,
Lil
and
Nas
Lil
X.
Nas X. Which is crazy that
There's a Jesus one too. I'm assuming you're gonna say
Cop. I don't know. I'd rock them. I know they got the devil blood, whatever. They're kind of funny, man. I don't know, but whatever. I don't know. It's I guess drop. Because again, Cop, I have to pay for it, right? Yeah, so I drop. No,
Okay.
drop.
Earlier, you talked obviously that you and Travis had a good relationship. You said there's been some sort of falling out. We don't need to get into that, but let's just talk about Travis's new shoe, that new Travis Scott trainer, the brown one. What do you think of it?
Drop.
Drop.
Yeah.
Okay. Not feeling it. Okay.
No, not crazy about it.
Okay. Got it. Next one I have for you. I think this is probably the last one. I'm just checking my list here.
Yeah, and I mean, just to quickly touch, you mentioned on, Cop or drop, whether Cop, you'd buy it, right?
Yeah.
What's the most you've ever spent? I know you get gifted probably damn near close to everything, but is there a pair that kind of stands out that, oh, wow, I spent this much on that pair?
Yeah. I mean, I was just telling that to Gigi, and trying to think, it was $15K, and I don't know why I just literally forgot now. But I've spent some good money on PE exclusives that I bought back in the day. But shoes that were going for $100, like I don't think I paid more than $150 for a pair of Paris Dunks.
150 for a Paris Dunk is crazy. $150, not 150,000.
Yeah,
$150.
$150.
Wow.
Good ROI.
Good ROI. Okay, so you've spent some checks.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Last copper drop I have for you. This is a controversial one. Cool Kai, the Jordan 1 looking shoe. Nike sued him about it. Copper drop on the Cool Kais.
Drop.
Drop. Why? Just not original?
I mean, just not original. Like I get people get say Bapes or whatever else. It's just like, it was like, dog, you were like, and again, I don't know the dude or anything. It's just like, and Omi's a good friend of mine. Like I know Omi and whatever. And it's just like, come on, man. Like,
right. Okay. Fair enough. Last question of the day. We always have to ask this. Before I do ask this question, I want to give you your flowers. I'm big on that. There's a Kanye lyric that I live by. If you admire someone, you should tell them. People never get the flowers and they can still smell them. So I want to give you your flowers. First, say thank you so much for being a part of this thing that we've created. Got Soul is a family business, literally because our family's here and runs it, but figuratively because the people who run it with us, our team, are family to us. So you've contributed to that much more than you know, and thank you. So I want to say that
you're welcome.
first.
Appreciate it.
And the second thing I want to say is the amount of things, people you've collaborated with, things you've had your hands in is insane, and the humility you have around it as well is incredible, and I wish you nothing but the best. I want to congratulate you on all the success. I know there is so much ahead.
Oh, yeah, man. We're about to, like, next year, like I took a good 18-month hiatus off, 19 months now, hiatus where I didn't work. Did a couple things. I really just laid in the cut, going through a difficult time. I don't want to talk about it in front of the kids, but it was a tough time, I will say this that correlates to something you said earlier. I've said a few things to Kanye, and I've seen him use them. And Jacob the jeweler was the guy I idolized coming up because he was the one that opened the door for me to be the jeweler I was and win all these accolades and the awards I've won globally. And I told Kanye, I said, hey, man, everyone wants to be the next Jacob the jeweler. I'm trying to be the first Ben Baller. And then he said, everyone wants to be the next Tupac. I'm trying to be the first Kanye West. Everyone's trying to be the next such and such. We're trying to be the first Got Soul. So I wanted to give you guys that because I said that to Ye one time, and I remember he used it. So it's what it is, bro.
Wow. Thank you.
Thank you, man.
My last question is one message to the fans.
This is not your practice life. All you guys are playing video games, think it's whatever. All right, you die, whatever you're playing, COD, Counter-Strike, or anything else, you start right back over. I'm not saying that in life, but this ain't your practice life. Take your life serious, If you're going to practice. Life is serious. So know when to differentiate what you're doing. That's the most important part.
Words to live by. Thank you, Ben. Thank you guys for watching. Another episode coming soon. Shout out to Ben, man. All love. We'll have you back soon.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Thank you so much, man.